Good day, everyone, and welcome to the next in our series of chats with local East Anglian business owners. Today, I'm talking to Joe Salter from Where Does It Come From Limited. Good afternoon, Joe. How are you today?
Good afternoon, Martin. I'm fine, thank you, and enjoying the sunshine.
Absolutely, absolutely. You say that, but I'm delighted I have an air-conditioned office, I've got to say. I don't think I'd have survived without that today.
It's really hot, isn't it?
It is. It's absolutely roasting, but it's been a long time coming. Yeah, so thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us today. I'm really excited to find out more about your business. You know, Where Did You Come From Limited? That's really an intriguing business name. So why don't you tell me a bit about your business?
Sure. Well, Where Does It Come From? Very much as the name I hope suggests, is all about finding out the stories behind things, behind stuff, really. So I set up the business in 2013, and it's basically about creating clothing and textiles that come with their story. So everything that we create is eco-friendly and it's fair trade, and it comes with a little label with a code on that the customer can type the code in or scan it with their phone, and that links through to the whole story. So you can find out what fibres are in your garment, who farmed them, get to know the people involved, and get to know all the processes behind it. And the idea is really that if you buy something, you get that deeper connection with it. Because if you think about how commoditized and consumerized everything has become, we're just used to popping into a shop, grabbing something off a shelf or something, and we don't really think about where it came from, and we don't really think about the impacts of that item on the people, on the planet, or even on ourselves in terms of our health. So it's trying to get people to think a little bit deeper, build that deeper connection, because that means that they will value that item more and treat it a bit better, and maybe shop differently in the future too.
So you've been doing this for 8 years now, since 2013. So do you manufacture the clothes, or do you find the clothes then find out the story about them?
No, we manufacture them, not personally. We work with a range of social enterprises, actually. We're actually a registered social enterprise as well. And we work with organisations primarily in India. We've worked with organisations in Africa, and we've just built up a relationship with a manufacturer in the UK. And this is all about creating opportunities and livelihoods for people that otherwise might have been marginalised. So we work with a lot of rural artisans in India, because otherwise they have to go into the cities and they get separated from their families. And quite often, for example, with cotton farms are obviously rurally based, and it's trying to build up that capability in those locations where the farms are, so people don't have to commute into cities. Quite often women become marginalized in those communities, so it's about providing livelihoods for them, for physically disabled people. And the organisation we're working with in the UK, which I'm really excited about, is creating opportunities for recovering addicts, so training them up in garment making and that kind of thing. So that's the kind of organisations we work with. And we also have a very strong ethos on environmental measures as well, so the two are balanced really nicely. So if you're you use a lot less carbon if you're working near to the source of the fibre. We use very low carbon, low water processes. We use fibres that are really eco-friendly, not covered in pesticides. So it's got a balance between people and planet.
Yeah, I mean, you know, so it's not just about the history and where the clothes come from. It's a far bigger story than that, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, basically I say we have 3 pillars behind the business. One is the environment, the planet. 2 is the workers, and that's all of the workers, that's including the people who farm the original fibre. And the 3rd one is actually the end customer, the person who's going to be using the item, because it's good for your physical health, and it's also good, really good for your mental health, to know about the story behind your clothes and your other textiles.
And if I'm listening to you right, you're tackling some stuff around human rights in there somewhere as well, aren't you?
Definitely we are. I mean, we work with obviously fair trade. We work with an organisation in India called the Khadi Village Industries Commission, and that's all about trying to obey the standards, or keep it working to the standards of fair pay, decent working conditions, and all the things that most of us take for granted, really, in other economies, although maybe we shouldn't. That's another.
Yeah, maybe you should. Yeah, I think you're right there. Maybe we should. But I think you know, from where I'm sat, I mean, wow. I mean, what strong values you've got behind your brand and behind what you're doing.
Thank you.
That's absolutely admirable. Absolutely admirable. So, but I mean, so the other end, in terms of people that are buying your clothes, who is your ideal client? Where's your target market for the people that are making those purchases from you?
Well, interestingly, and my son always says when I start a sentence with interestingly, it's for him, it's not particularly, but interestingly, that has developed over time. So when we first started the brand up, I was looking very much for a retail customer, and it was just me working in the brand at that time. So I was looking for a target customer who with particular values, you know, people who are a little bit more eco-aware, and we very much are still working towards retail custom, but now we're aiming much more for a B2B customer base, and that's why we're evolving the business in that direction. And that is really because I think when I first started the business, people did look at me like I had two heads when I talked about environmental and fair trade and trying to do all those kind of things, and they'd just say, well, how much does it cost? That's all we care about. But I hope everyone listening to this will agree that that's changed. I think businesses are much more eco-aware, and they know that end customers are much more eco-aware and trade justice aware now. So businesses are looking to balance their ethical stance with costs, which is great. And as far as I'm concerned, if they've got budgets to be spending on merchandise and corporate clothing and all of those kind of things, then I want them to be spending them ethically and sustainably.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Net zero, 2050 is it's a big target, and there's lots of businesses now gearing themselves up to get there. And there's lots of governments have finally listened to a 12-year-old who's been banging a drum for a couple of years and started to wake up and take some positive action as well. So so you kind of sit very nicely, I suppose, in amongst all that in terms of your contribution towards net zero as well.
Yeah, I mean, we're basically saying to big businesses that we're contacting and working with, some we're working with already, we're basically saying, well, you've got these things, these statements you've made on your website about your sustainable goals. We can help you deliver that. We can help, and not only can we help you deliver that, but we know the whole story of everything. So that gives you great marketing collateral as well. So if someone's buying an item from you, or one of your staff is wearing their corporate outfit from you, they can scan that code and they can see these are the actual people who are involved in making this. This is the impact that we're having just by making this choice. And we're doing a project at the moment, we're just about to start, where we actually can give figures, we're hoping, fingers crossed, to be able to say to people, choosing this over what you would normally buy will give this much benefit in terms of carbon and lots of other things.
Yeah,
it's an interesting one. It's working out what to actually measure. That's what we're doing at the moment, because you could disappear down a rabbit hole with too much information. But yeah, that's what we want to be able to say to people. Yes, it is cheaper if you buy something off the shelf that perhaps hasn't been made in a just an ethical way for the workers. It hasn't been made out of materials that are going to biodegrade or whatever, or might leach out nasty chemicals or give off microplastics every time you wash it. Yeah, you can make those choices and it will be cheaper. But if you want these benefits that your customers are actually asking you to look for now, and it will give your sort of marketing information a lot more of a clear link with what you're saying on your website, then we can help you with that.
Yeah, I mean, to be able to put, this is it, but by buying this garment, this is how you're impacting the environment, would be a very, very, very powerful statement. But and powerful marketing tool as well, I'd have thought.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's one thing we can definitely add, and we've been doing this for years, so we know what we're doing. And we're not a large company by any means, but we've got really good links with social enterprises that we work with and with customers that we've worked with as well. And we do have a range of business customers now who are very happily using our products and will pay that little bit extra to use our products because they know that it backs up their own values. And I think you're going to find a lot more founders and managers who've got personal values which they can't separate now from business. I mean, I've worked in a large corporate company for many years, and I think the culture maybe back in the 90s and noughties was a bit more business is business, personal life is personal life, your values are separate from your business goals. And I personally couldn't handle that, which is partly why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I think there's a lot of other people who are saying, no, I don't see why I shouldn't align my personal values with what I do with my life.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think personal values will play a bigger part in social corporate responsibility. I think it's a very, very good challenge. In terms of your target market, so business to business is where you still do your retail, but you're starting to venture into business. So what's your ideal client or ideal target market, business to business? What's your ideal business?
I think really we are talking to some of the big ones, but they're going to be smaller projects with them. So I think it's going to be probably more sort of a medium to large enterprise, and it's going to be people who are used to spending money, say on tote bags, t-shirts, those kind of things. Maybe now events are opening up again. That's a classic one. So people like that who want something, and they can customize the size, they can customize the print, all of those things, but they want to do that in an ethical way. So they're the kind of people we're looking for. So we're talking to toy companies at the moment. We're very much targeting universities at the moment because we know they're planning their open days again. So events is obviously a key one, but anything where promotional wear, simple things are a good one to start with. So bags, t-shirts are a good one to start with, but we are actually talking to a large company about their corporate clothing, and we're working on that. So basically, if it's made of textiles, we can talk about it, to be honest.
Okay, well, good. Now, just looking at the last year, I mean, the last year has been pretty challenging for, you know, pretty much everybody. There's been this little thing called a pandemic going on. And what sort of changes have you seen in your industry, or how's that sort of changed your business in the last year as well? I mean, what, you know, those two.
How long have you got, Martin? Well, as you say, everyone, I don't have to tell everybody everything because they all know. Really, we started off, we were doing really well. At the beginning of last year, it seems much more than a year ago, was a good time for us, actually. I was over in India in end of January, early February, meeting with suppliers. I'm so glad I did that trip because it happened. And then really, we were talking to a major food delivery company in the UK. We had a great plan for bags. Were going to be, you know, little drawstring bags to get customers to stop using plastic. So a lot of things replacing plastic, a lot of projects like that we were talking to customers about. It literally all disappeared overnight because those kind of food companies, they had very other priorities. They were trying to get all of the food distribution in the UK going, and then of course plastic became, we took a big back step, I think, in terms of plastic packaging, because everyone was so concerned about hygiene and all of that. So plastic replacement work stopped, you know. And then I think yeah, I mean, what we did as a business, basically, I always say it's like a desert. There was actually tumbleweed going across it. There was nothing coming in, retail or business to business, for a couple of months. So we prioritized other things. We got very much into campaigning around that time. We ran a conference, and just, you know, I think everybody, it's funny looking back on it. I think everyone kind of lost their way a little bit, and we all needed to do things that we felt were right for us at the time, and nurture ourselves a little bit. By May, though, we were very much seeing that things were, our artisans in India especially were struggling, and we started working on face masks. And we were one of the first brands to launch face masks. So what we designed, Lucy, my project manager, and myself have got pulled together a design for face masks, but using undyed, unbleached, organic, rain-fed cotton, completely plastic free, no elastic. So it was different from things that were about, and people embraced that. You know, if you're going to put something over your face, you don't want to have dyes, you don't want to have plastic microfibers. So we got very heavily into that, and we pulled together a team within the UK. There was quite a lot of tailors who couldn't work, so they came and joined the team, and we did that for a few months, and then we were able to downstream that to India and get that made by an amazing social enterprise in India, where everything was joined together. So the farming, everything was joined together and done in one place, because we couldn't actually import anything from India till about July. There was no import export going on.
There's nothing going on.
So yeah, face masks was a big thing. And then probably autumn time, some small B2B custom was coming back, and by Christmas retail was pretty good again. But yeah, it was a funny old year, and I'd say it put all the work we'd done, lead generation for B2B, fell by the wayside, and I haven't been able to reawaken most of it because things have moved on. So it's starting again, really.
Yeah, so you're starting again. Well, okay, wow. So I mean, is there anything that just happened during that period of lockdown that you know, we were forced to make a change that you're going to carry forward now, that you've seen a new opportunity or a new route of doing things?
It's hard to say, isn't it? I mean, collaboration was a key one, because we did the face masks in collaboration with another UK business, because we thought, what's the point in there was a lot of businesses making face masks, and we thought, well, actually, why don't we collaborate and share the profits? So that was a nice way of working, to do it that way. And so it meant we had a much bigger virtual team. We never actually met, obviously, it was all done over Zoom. That was really great. So I definitely would want, I love collaborating anyway, so definitely do some more of that kind of work. And I think probably the main one, and I guess I'm sure I'm not alone in this, I think realizing that you can have perfectly adequate, if not better than adequate, team meetings, team relationships, customer meetings, supplier meetings, everything over the internet, some with video. WhatsApp's become a really big thing with our suppliers as well. We talk in WhatsApp all the time. So yeah, technology's been great. I haven't been to London in a year, and I don't particularly want to now.
You don't miss it.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I can relate to that. Having lived in London for many years, I can relate to not missing it. I mean, it's interesting because you've really quickly pivoted your business into the face mask, which I'm picking up, reading between the lines. It kind of gave you that sustainability.
It kept us going. It kept us going. Not just financially. I mean, it kept us going financially, no doubt. I mean, we were able. The other thing I didn't say was we were able to start selling those wholesale, which is what reawakened the B2B. So we sold those to East of England Co-op. We're selling them, Essential Trading. So we were able to, and that was a good learning exercise for us as well, helping us with our journey towards B2B, because you obviously have to do stuff like getting barcodes on everything and linking in with all of their sales systems. So there's some great learning there as well. So yeah, I'm grateful for it, really. I'm grateful for it. It was good.
So now the economy is starting to reopen, which it is, and hopefully from June 21st it'll fully reopen. And absolutely, fingers crossed. So what preparation have you put in place to for your business fully for the reopening of the economy? What have you done anything to get yourself ready for it?
Not hugely different, really. I mean, the main changes that again we've benefited by. We've taken on one Kickstarter person who her role is marketing, so she works 25 hours a week on marketing, and I'm interviewing actually next week for a second Kickstarter role, which is going to be on impact analysis. That's that impact analysis work I was talking about before. So really that's the kind of thing on preparation, just trying to be ready for businesses. When the shops opened, actually that was a opportunity. So we were selling wholesale into shops and saying, you've got what stock, what do you need to restock your shop, what do you want, face masks, clothing, whatever. So we were contacting people like that. So I suppose it's just about being a bit proactive, knowing that a lot of these businesses have been closed for quite a while or working in a different way, and saying, how can we help you, how can we support you with your reopening?
Okay, which is great, and it's interesting that as the economy opens, the opportunities for business are going to expand. What opportunities do you think are out there for businesses?
Well, events for us, I think, is a key one. When live events start happening again, which I think they will, trade shows, university open days, even festivals and things like that. Someone was talking to me about the other day. Then, that's a great opportunity for us. It's a great opportunity for them. It's a great opportunity because they can show what they're doing. I mean, I believe putting the QR code on items, if you're handing them out to customers and saying, just scan that with your phone, and you can even show them how to do it, that gives them a great opportunity for marketing, and it puts them a bit above the competition because they're showing that they're linked into this whole need to be connected and to be talking about the planet and talking about trade justice and that kind of thing. So I think for the customers who are interested in that kind of thing, it's giving them an added opportunity, and we're there for them, So yeah, it's talking about opening up. There are a lot of opportunities. I think a lot of people have come through the pandemic feeling more connected to the planet, more connected to the environment. I mean, I'm sure you've heard yourself people talking about, wow, I could hear the birds singing. We went for a walk every day and it was so lovely, and really into nature and that kind of thing. So hopefully people will come through and they'll say, okay, I appreciate the environment, the planet a bit more. There's been a lot of more news in the last year as well about the climate emergency and what's happening. So I think there is that opportunity with opening up to, as they say, build back better, but build back in a way that is more conscious of our environment and how we can protect it.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. In fact, some people I know, landscape gardeners, are talking about how much people are investing into their gardens now, and that's all related to the nature, the space, the bird singing, being in walks, and spending so much time at home.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think you are. I think people's awareness of nature and the environment is broadening and broadening very, very quickly. What are you looking forward to? The things are potentially almost returning to some semblance of normal.
Yeah, what I'm looking forward to, it's lots really. I'm looking forward to talking with customers again about the opportunities. And at the moment, I would say customers are still on the cautious side and not really ready to jump in with both feet to something new, which is quite interesting. So before the pandemic, we were talking, they were getting excited about the opportunities and excited about everything. I think it's still, there's a bit of caution, but I'm really looking forward to having those conversations about what we can do and getting excited with them about some of the projects that we can run together, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, no, I can relate to that, and I think it's about people's confidence building, isn't it? And once that starts to build, then there'll be a lot more open to taking risks and trying new things. So I completely agree with you. Completely agree with you on that.
I think many businesses came through and have actually done well financially at the pandemic, and worked really hard through the pandemic. I know there's lots of businesses around here who worked all the hours under the sun and delivering food and all that kind of thing, and maybe they haven't quite had the chance for their feet to touch the ground yet and strategize about what the future holds for them, and I really want to be there when they do.
Yeah, no, that's a good outlook. That's a very good outlook. Is there something that you'd like to say or share with your customers or prospective customers?
Really, all I would say is to them, their customers, your customers, are already becoming conscious about the environment. They're already wanting to become much more connected, and there are lots of smaller businesses out there who can offer that kind of transparency, those kind of ethics. So if you want your customers to be coming to you, then you can offer that kind of information. We can help you with that, but you don't want to be left behind really by the businesses that are already doing that. And it isn't that hard to do. We can help you. It's just a question of understanding what your company values are and translating that into the products and services that you offer and communicating that effectively with your customers. And we would love to help you.
Now, I can't think of any better way than closing our interview down today than that statement. So that is fantastic, Jo. And you got a really, really interesting business there that's adding a lot of value and doing a lot of good for many different people across the world. So, hats off to you. I think it's brilliant. I think it's really brilliant.
Well, get everyone to have a look at our website. We're about to get a new one as well. It's wheredoesitcomefrom.co.uk.
There you go. Heard it from Jo. Go on that website and see what where does it come from all about. Jo, all I can say, look, thank you very much for your time today. It's been absolutely brilliant talking to you. I've loved every second of it. And look, I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you, Martin.